After dropping game number 1 yesterday, the Springfield Drifters return for game number 2 against the Ridgefield Raptors. Hello and welcome to Ridgefield Outdoor Recreation Complex. My name is Knight Uretsky, your play-by-play man for the Springfield Drifters. And yesterday, the Drifters dropped their 4th straight game after getting swept by Portland and losing game number 1 yesterday 4-3. Springfield yesterday just 5 hits overall, and they had 3 errors, and those 3 errors were crucial. In fact, 2 of the errors came in the first inning where Ridgefield scored 2 runs, and that was the big deciding factor as the Drifters lost by 1. Springfield yesterday, they felt like it was a game that really just was decided by the errors. If they limited the errors in the first inning, they probably win that game, and ultimately the errors cost them. Today, they're going to try to take down the Ridgefield Raptors, who come in overall 21-12. They're 5-2 in the WCL South in the second half of the year. Springfield, they've dropped 5 straight games, like we mentioned, and they're down to 4-6 overall in the second half of the year. 14-23. That 14-23 record last overall on the year. Let's go ahead and get you today's starting lineups. Before we have the first pitch for Ridgefield, leading off is going to be Jacob Sharp. Travis Welker going to be in the 2 spot. He'll be the third baseman. Mikey Kane, the shortstop, in the 3 position. Will Chambers, the DH, in the cleanup spot. Safaya Mawe is going to be the first baseman. Doyle Kane, the left fielder, in the 6th spot. Isaac Lovins, the catcher, batting 7th. Nate Kirkpatrick, the second baseman, in the 8th hole. And then Austin Cavinas, the center fielder, he's going to be the 9-hole hitter. For Springfield, on the other hand, Cole Collector is going to be leading things off. Trevor Anderson going to be playing shortstop, and he'll be the 2-hole hitter. Jordan Justice, the DH, he'll be in the 3 spot. Cade Chris going to DH, or excuse me, not DH day, first base today. He's going to be the cleanup hitter. Taylor Holder, the right fielder for the Springfield Drifters. He's making his return to the lineup after missing the Portland series. He was out going and exploring different universities that he could potentially attend next year, as he's currently in the transfer portal. Dominic Hellman going to be in the 6th spot. He'll be batting right behind Taylor Holder and playing third base. Nate Stevens going to be the catcher today in the 7th spot. Ethan Sitzman, it's his birthday today, and he's going to be getting the start at second base. He'll be in the 8th hole. Mac Moyer, the center fielder today for the Drifters, and he's coming off his best performance of the year offensively. A 2-for-3 day with a double, an RBI, and a run. He's on a 3-game hit streak, and he's quite hot. And they'll be facing off against the left-hander in Ben Hart from Lakeside, California. So Cole Kleckner will come up to the plate to face off against Hart, the lefty. So we get a lefty-on-lefty matchup to start. Hart, this is going to be his 6th start of the year for the Raptors. Kleckner, Anderson, Justice due up for the Drifters as the left-hander's on the mound and ready. The first pitch, Kleckner's going to show bunt, pulled it back, and it's called a strike. And we're underway here at 6:35, right on schedule here at the Rourke. So Kleckner coming in, he went 4 for 6 in his last start as he sees the pitch called a strike, and it's 0-2. Got the game off yesterday, but overall he's swinging a little bit of a hot bat. He's raised his batting average to .276. And again, he's had numerous amount of hits in the past 3 games. Looks at a pitch high, and it's now 1-2. In fact, in the last 3 games, whether it just be hits, reaching base on an error, walks, he's reached base safely 9 times in the past 3 games. Here's the 1-2, swing and a miss by Kleckner, and he'll go down swinging. First strikeout for Hart, and we're underway here in the top of the first. So bring up Trevor Anderson, the shortstop. Anderson, we've seen him at second base and shortstop. This is going to be his 3rd start at the shortstop position. He is a 2 spot, facing off against the lefty in Hart. First pitch to Anderson is going to be called a strike, 0-1. Anderson yesterday 0 for 4 with a strikeout. He's had 3 straight hitless games with the Drifters. Here's the 0-1 to Anderson as he fouls it away, 0-2. So Hart, this is going to be his 6th start of the year, a 1-1 record for the left-hander. A 3.52 ERA overall in 23 innings pitched. 26 strikeouts, just 5 walks. Here's the 0-1 to Anderson, and that one is inside, and it's now 1-2. Hard in his last start, he threw against the Portland Pickles. He went 6 innings, allowed 2 runs on 4 hits, struck out 10 batters. The 1-2, Anson lets it bounce in, and it's now 2-2 to the shortstop. Anson now currently batting 197, so he's below the Mendoza line, which is at 200. It got his batting average all the way up to 240, but it's since dropped after those 3 hitless games. And now he'll get rung up on an off-speed pitch. It dropped in there from Hart. Back-to-back strikeouts, and man, 2 up, 2 Ks for the Drifters. So bring up Jordan Justice, the DH today. 0 for 4 yesterday with the strikeout. First pitch to Jordan Justice is cut on and missed. 0-1. Defensively for the Raptors, in left field is going to be Doyle Kane. Center field, Austin Cavanis. In right field, Jacob Sharp. In the infield, Travis Welker at third, Mikey Kane at shortstop, Nate Kirkpatrick at second, and Safea Mawai at first. Swing and a miss from Jordan Justice, and it's now 0-2. Behind the plate is going to be Isaac Lovins, the catcher. So Hart already off to a great start. 2 Ks, and he gets ahead 0-2 to Jordan Justice. Third pitch, swing and a miss. 3 up, 3 down, all on strikeouts. Heck of a start for Hart, who's coming off a 10K performance. We head to the bottom of the first, 0-0 the score. You're watching the Springfield Drifters here on the road in Ridgefield. Well, yesterday, the Springfield Drifters just struck out 7 times, and the first 3 batters, they all went down on strikeouts. Cole Kleckner, Trevor Anson, and Jordan Justice. Trevor Barth is going to be the man on the mound for the Drifters today. The right-hander from the University of Texas Permian Basin. He just committed there in the past couple of weeks after going the JUCO route. And now he'll face off against Jacob Sharp, Travis Welker, and Mikey Kane. 1, 2, and 3 for the Ridgefield Raptors. 0-0 the score in the bottom of the first. Barth going to be working out of the stretch today as Sharp's in the box, and the first pitch to Sharp is inside. Fastball 1-0. Sharp yesterday an 0 for 3 day with a walk and a run. Snapped his 3-game hit streak that he had coming into the game. But overall, he's had 10 hits in his last couple. In there for a strike, and it's now 1-1. Sharp, an impressive .354 batting average on the year. Came into the game yesterday with a 3rd best average in the WCL, but the hitless day definitely dropped that batting average. We'll take a pitch called a strike, and it's 1-2. Sharp, though, he is leading the WCL in home runs. Has 9 overall. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch from Barth. And that bounces away from Nate Stevens, the catcher, and it's now 2-2. Sharp, the product out of Fullerton College, originally from Whittier, California. Spent 21 games this past year at Fullerton College. Here's the 2-2 as that's going to be lined out towards center field. Coming in as Moyer, he dives, but it drops right in front of him. Sharp going to stop at first after taking a big round around first. And that's a start for Jacob Sharp. Gets his first hit of the series and the leadoff man's award for the Raptors. This brings up Travis Welker, the third baseman. Runner at first, nobody out here in the bottom of the first. Defensively for the Drifters, in left field is going to be Cole Kleckner. In center field, you just heard it, Mac Moyer. In right field, Taylor Holder. In the infield, Dominic Hellman, Trevor Anson, Ethan Sitzman, Cade Chris, left to right from third base to first base. Behind the plate, Nate Stevens. Welker going to show bunt, pulled back. The pitch missed away outside. It's now 1-0. Welker, the third baseman today. We saw him at shortstop yesterday. He went 2 for 4 with a run. He's had 5 hits in his last 8 at-bats. Here's the 1-0, and that's an off-speed pitch that's fouled away, and it's now 1-1. Welker on the year, a .309 batting average, 30 hits, 2 doubles. Facing off against the right-hander and Trevor Barth, making his third start of the year. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that's going to be a bunt by Welker. Coming in as Barth, he'll go to first, as that's the only play he has. Chris is there, but advancing over to second is Sharp, and the Raptors have a runner in scoring position here with 1 out in the first. So Ridgefield electing the show bunt here early on in the first inning. Saw it a little bit yesterday in the 8th inning, and it paid off for them as they were able to score a run and take the lead against the Drifters. They were able to hang on for the victory 4-3, and we've already seen in game number 1, this game could be decided by 1 run. So you have a runner in scoring position now for the Raptors early here in the bottom of the first. 1 out, Barth on the mound. Here's the first pitch to Kane, and that one curveball down and away. 1-0. Stevens keeps it in front of him and keeps Sharp at second. Kane, a shortstop for the Raptors, 2 for 4 yesterday with an RBI. He's had 3 straight games with 2 hits. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and that's going to be skied out towards the right side of the field in foul territory. Cade Chris chasing it and looks at it go over the fence and out of play. 1-1. Kane overall in the year, a .301 average, 37 hits, 9 doubles, 2 home runs. Impressive numbers from the freshman from Southern California. Spent this past year at the College of the Canyons, where his coach was manager Chris Cota, who's the manager of the Ridgefield Raptors. 1-1 the count, Barth on the mound with 1 out and a runner at second. Here's the pitch to Kane, off speed, waited for, lined out towards right field, Holder under it, makes the catch along the track, he'll throw it in. Tagging is Sharp, and he'll head over to third. 2 outs now, but a runner 90 feet away from scoring for Ridgefield, and it brings up Will Chambers, the DH.
The designated hitter from Utah Tech, Will Chambers. Chambers, who had 1 hit in each of the Bellingham games he played in, 2 games against the Bells.
So here's Chambers, the DH, absent from the lineup yesterday, but he returns to the Ridgefield lineup today, batting in the cleanup spot. He's a utility player for the Raptors, but gets the start at DH today. First pitch to Chambers is going to be chopped foul, 0-1. Chambers went 2 for 8 against Bellingham this past series. He had 4 RBIs, including 1 home run. That home run game, he had 3 RBIs total in that performance. Overall, though, just a .260 batting average for Chambers. 0-1 the count. Here's the pitch from Barth. Looked at it, it's called a strike, 0-2. Chambers this season, though, 5 home runs. Got his 5th one in that game against Bellingham. Barth ready. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Going to be lined on a flare out towards left field, and it gets down. 1 run's going to score on the RBI hit from Will Chambers. It's an RBI single, and it's 1-0 for the Raptors. Chambers, that is his 17th RBI of the year, and it brings up Safea Moai. So the small ball pays off for the Raptors, and this has been the biggest small ball team that the Drifters have faced off against this season. Normally Springfield's been the small ball team, but Ridgefield giving them a taste of their own medicine. First pitch to Moai, outside. It's now 1-0 from Barth. Moai yesterday, 2 for 4 with an RBI. He's had 2 straight 2 for 4 performances. So Chambers leading off from first. Cade Chris, the first baseman, holding him there. Moai at the plate. Here's the 1-0 off speed. Going to be lined down the third base line. Diving play can't be made by Hellman. Digging for 3 is Chambers, 2 is Moai. The throw goes to third. Hellman puts on the tag, but the ball squirts free. But Chambers is going to stay at third as Hellman picked up the ball quickly. 5th double of the year for Moai. And now 2 runners are in scoring position for the Raptors. This brings up Doyle Kane, the left fielder. And Doyle Kane's probably the batter you don't want to be facing in this situation. He's swinging probably the hottest bat on the team as of right now. He's on a 9-game hitting streak where he's batting over 380 during that stretch. First pitch to Kane is going to be outside, 1-0. So we saw Kane's brother earlier in this inning, Mikey Kane, the shortstop. He flew out to right field. Now we get to see the other brother, Doyle Kane. Both of them from Valencia, California. As the 1-0 pitch is high and away, and it's now 2-0. Both of them also played at College of the Canyons for Chris Cota. So you get that Valencia to Ridgefield pipeline here. Moai at second. Chambers over at third. 2 outs, 2-0 the count. Here's the pitch. Inside to Kane, and it's now 3-0. Here's the 3-0 to Kane as it's high and away, and now that's a 4-pitch walk. Barth may be pitching a little cautiously with first base open, and now there's a play at any base, but 2 outs. This brings up Isaac Lovins, the catcher. So here's Isaac Lovins, the catcher. Saw Tyler Howard yesterday behind the plate, but we get Lovins today. This is something that's very common in the WCL, catchers rotating. As Barth is going to have to try to work out of this jam. 1-0, the Raptors lead as the first pitch to Lovins misses inside, and it's 1-0. 5 straight balls thrown from Barth. Barth started the season as a starter for the Drifters, since has been moved into the bullpen, but they're trying to work him back into the starting rotation as this is fouled off, 1-1. At the beginning of the year, they were just trying to figure out who's going to be the starters and who's going to be coming out of the pen. They threw a lot of different guys as starters. Ultimately, Barth was cut from the list and provided a lot of relief efforts. Once against Bend, Corvallis, Yakima Valley, and Portland. But he gets the start here today. There's the 1-1, swing and a miss from Lovins, and it's now 1-2. So Lovins is a guy that strikes out a lot. He has 30 strikeouts in 63 at-bats this season. He's down 1-2 right here with the bases loaded, 2 outs. Barth looking to keep the damage at just 1. The right-hander stares in, comes set at the waist. Here's the 1-2.
Isaac Leving's breaking ball
Just outside, and that one is going to be missed. 79-mile-per-hour off-speed pitch from Barth there, and it's 2-2. Just a little off the plate. Here's the 2-2. Off-speed, drops in for a strike. Barth gets the strikeout and leaves the bases loaded, but 3 hits in the inning for the Raptors. They leave 3 men stranded, but they score 1 run. We head to the second inning, 1-0, Ridgefield leading. You're watching the Springfield Drifters on the road here in Ridgefield. After a first inning where the Springfield Drifters brought up 3 batters and they all went down on strikeouts, they return in inning number 2 down 1-0 after Ridgefield took an early 1-0 lead. This brings up Cade Chris, Taylor Holder, Dominic Hellman, 4, 5, and 6 for Springfield. Facing off against Ben Hart, the left-hander. What a start for him after a 10 strikeout performance, already gets going with 3 strikeouts. First pitch to Cade Chris, below the knees, 88 miles per hour, and it's now 1-0. Cade Chris yesterday got the start at the first base spot. He went 0 for 3, but he did get a walk. The 1-0 is going to be inside. It's now 2-0 to Cade Chris. On the year, Chris, a .250 batting average, 6 doubles, 2 home runs, 9 RBIs. The 2-0, Chris is going to line sharply foul. 2-1. Cade Chris is a guy that gets a lot of extra base hits. I think for him, his batting average has dropped a little bit. He's down to .250 overall. Still one of the better batting averages on this Drifters team that has struggled to hit the ball. 2-1 is going to be hit high in the air, and it's drifting foul, and it goes foul first base side, and it's now 2-2. But for Cade Chris, I think that for him, he needs to hit a little bit more for contact. It seems like he's getting under a lot of balls or just trying to swing through the ball. He has 27 strikeouts overall, which is a 34% strikeout rate for him. 2-2 the count, nobody on it, nobody out here in the top of the second. The pitch from Hart, swing and a miss. 4 up, 4 down, all on strikeouts for Springfield. What an impressive start to this game for Ben Hart. So this brings up Taylor Holder, the right fielder. Holder back in the lineup for the first time since Sunday. Missed the Portland series after going and traveling around trying to find where he's going to play ball next year. First pitch to Holder, high, and it's now 1-0. Holder spent the past 2 years at the University of Oregon before entering the transfer portal this summer. Was pretty set on coming back to the Ducks, but it's a loaded outfielding core in Eugene. He sees a pitch inside 2-0. So ultimately, it led to the decision to enter the transfer portal. He's seen a few schools interested in him and obviously went on some tours this past week. I don't know where he's going to be playing baseball yet, but we're very excited for Holder and his future. Here's the 2-0, and that's a swing and a miss from Holder, and it's now 2-1. Holder, he's just batting 197, so just below the Mendoza line at 200. He has 3 doubles and 5 RBIs, but I think that his batting average really isn't indicative of his performance. Well, fouls this one away, and it's now 2-2. You see, for Holder, he's a guy that has been swinging the bat pretty well. He's been barreling up some balls. They just haven't been dropping. Just hasn't really broken his way, and if you just talk to him, he feels like he's swinging a good bat. He feels like he's getting good contact. But for baseball, that's just baseball, and it's going to have some hard breaks sometimes. Speaking of hard breaks, that is a breaking ball called for strike 3 from Hart. And man, 5 up, 5 down, all on strikeouts. It's a second backwards K today, but Hart all the way to 5 Ks, and we're not even through the second inning. This brings up Dominic Hellman, the third baseman. He'll try to face off against Hart and get the bat on the ball. First pitch, inside off speed, 1-0. So Hart, his first outing, he had 6 strikeouts. Then after that, he had 4, 4, and 2, all in 6, 3, and 3 inning performances respectively. As Hellman hits this in the air, high and foul, first base side, 1-1. Then this last outing, he had 10 strikeouts against 22 batters he faced. That was in 6 innings of total work. But already up to 5 strikeouts with 2 outs here in the top of the second. The 1-1, Hellman lines it foul, 1-2. Hellman, the powerful bat at the plate. He only has 2 hits in his last 18 at-bats. After starting the year with an impressive batting average, it's definitely tailed off. He's down to 220. Here's the 1-2 to Hellman. Check swing, did he go? Dennis Shepro, the first base umpire, said he did not go around, and it's now 2-2 to Hellman. Behind the plate is Billy Yeager, and then we just mentioned it, Shepro out, the field umpire today. 1-0, Ridgefield leading, top of the second. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here's the pitch from Hart. Hellman lines this deep to center field. Cavan looking up, and it's over the fence. Dominic Hellman, a solo shot for the Drifters. What a way to break out the strikeout streak as Hellman hits it over the wall. His second home run as a Springfield Drifter, and we're tied at 1. So Hart almost struck out the side for the second straight inning. There was a check swing appeal. It didn't go his way. It was a 2-2 count, and then Hellman sent it over the wall. A solo shot for the third baseman, and it brings up Nate Stevens in a 1-1 game. First pitch to Stevens is high, and it's now 1-0. So Nate Stevens coming in with a 159 batting average, just 10 hits and 63 at-bats for the catcher, as he'll line this towards left field and get his 11th hit of the season. Back-to-back hits for the Drifters, and this is maybe a little bit of a 2-out rally for Springfield after striking out their first 5 batters. Hart has allowed back-to-back hits, a solo shot, and a single, and this brings up the birthday boy, Ethan Sitzman. 1-1 the score, 2 hits for Springfield now, 3 hits for Ridgefield in that first inning. They were able to scratch across a run. Barth left the bases loaded. And now here's Sitzman with a runner at first. Hart throws an off-speed pitch high, and it's now 1-0 to Sitzman. So today is Ethan Sitzman's 20th birthday. Hoping to have a successful day. We've seen Springfield, when it is a player's birthday, the player typically has played really well. As Sitzman looks at a pitch high, and it's now 2-2. We saw Isaac Avenue throw 4 innings of scoreless relief effort on his birthday. That was huge because it was the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th innings in a game against Bend, which Springfield ended up walking off. 2-0 jammed was Sitzman as he sends it on the ground towards the right side. Kirkpatrick picks it up, throws over to Mawai at first, and that'll do it for Sitzman. But the Drifters tie the game 1-1 after this solo shot for Dominic Hellman. We now head to the bottom of the second inning, 1-1 the score. You're watching the Springfield Drifters here on the Drifters live stream. Game 2 between the Springfield Drifters and the Ridgefield Raptors. Currently we're tied 1-1, and this is so far similar to yesterday's game. Ridgefield took an early lead, 1-0. Springfield tying it in the top of the second, 1-1. Dominic Hellman, his second home run this year, and it brings up Nate Kirkpatrick, Austin Cavanis, and Jacob Sharp, 8, 9, and 1. Barth back on the mound as the first pitch is an off-speed pitch called for a strike, 0-1. So Kirkpatrick gets his first action here in the series. He's getting the start at second base today. Was absent from the lineup yesterday. The 0-1 is going to be grounded towards the right side. Sitzman fields a high hopper. He'll throw over to first, and it's a 4-3 ground out to start here in the bottom of the second. Brings up Austin Cavanis, the center fielder. Cavanis, the redshirt sophomore from Cal Poly SLO, originally from Chico, California, before heading off to Cal Poly. Nobody on, 1 out, 1-1 the score, bottom of the second inning. First pitch bounces in, it's now 1-0. So Springfield in that last inning, they were able to tie it with the hit from Hellman. Prior to Hellman's home run, they'd gone up, 5 down, all on strikeouts. Then Hellman and Stevens both had hits before Sitzman grounded out to end the inning. The 1-0 pitch bounces in to Cavanis, and it's now 2-0. Cavanis yesterday, he went 1 for 4 with a strikeout. Overall, a .278 batting average. Here's the 2-0 as it's looked at and called a strike, 2-1. Cavanis this past year at Cal Poly, he redshirted. He just transferred there after spending 2 seasons at Folsom Lake Community College. The 2-1 from Barth is going to be lined out towards center field. Ranging back is Mac Moyer. He stops under the ball and makes the catch in the alleyway. Back-to-back outs for Barth, and 2 are gone here in the bottom of the second.
Coming to the plate for the Ridgefield Raptors, the right fielder from UNLV, Jacob Sharp.
This brings up Jacob Sharp, the right fielder. 1 for 1 today with a single and a run, up for the second time in 2 innings.
Jacob Sharp, the bat, took 2 outs and nobody on base.
Sharp was hitless yesterday, but already off to a better start today with that single and run. Gets a second look at Barth. First pitch comes in for a strike, 0-1. Sharp, he singled and then was advanced over to second via sac bunt by Travis Wilkers on deck. Small ball paid off as 2 batters later, Chambers was able to bring him home, and they scored the first run of the game. Sharp fouls it back, and it's now 0-2. Barth so far today, just one strikeout. He had 11 strikeouts and 15 and a third innings prior to today. Here's the 0-2. Called strike 3. Barth gets a strikeout to end the second inning. Similar to the first inning where he got a strikeout swinging, this time it's a backwards K for Barth, his second of the day. 3 up, 3 down, the Raptors go in the bottom of the second. We're tied 1-1. You're watching the Springfield Drifters on the road here in Ridgefield. Top of the third inning on deck. Mac Moyer, Cole Kleckner, Trevor Anson, 9-1-2 for the Drifters in this 1-1 game. It was 5 up, 5 down to start the game for Ben Hart, but since then he allowed a solo shot to Hellman, a single to Stevens, and then he got Sitzman to ground out to end that last second inning. First pitch to Mac Moyer here in the third, inside, and it's now 1-0. Moyer, the incoming freshman at the University of Oregon, saw 88 inside on him. Lefty on lefty matchup here, as we've had several lefty matchups with Moyer, Stevens, and Kleckner in the lineup. Moyer's going to line this towards left field. Is it going to be fair? And it is foul. Just left of the chalk, they say. Billy Yeager, the home plate umpire. One looked like it could go either way, but Yeager says it's left of the chalk, and Moyer's going to have to run back to home plate. 1-1 the count. Mac Moyer swinging the best bat he's had this summer. He had a 2-for-3 day yesterday with a double, an RBI, and a run scored. He's on a 3-game hitting streak, and he's since raised his batting average to .256. As he's starting to get more starts and starting to get more success. Here's the 1-1 to Moyer. Called a ball below the knees, 90 miles per hour from Hart. Mac Moyer, 5 RBIs now on the year after that RBI yesterday. It was a hit-and-run situation with Cannon Reeder. You always love to see it with those Drifters players, having Reeder and Moyer in the outfield. A couple of young prospects. 3-1 the count now as that one bounced low and away. 79 mile per hour off speed from Hart. And here's Moyer at the plate. Here's the 3-1, and it's going to be called a strike. Moyer thought he was going to be heading to first on a walk. He'll have to head back to the plate, 3-2. Moyer has 5 hits in his last 10 at-bats. There's a 3-2. He's going to line foul. We'll do it one more time. Thought he almost had his 6th hit in his last 11 at-bats with that ball that was called foul to left field. Ultimately, he's battling here with a 3-2 count. 1-1 the score, top of the third inning. Nobody on for Mac Moyer, the 9-hole hitter. There's a 3-2, and that one's above the letters. Moyer's going to be aboard with a leadoff walk, and the Drifters have a quick runner on. This brings up Cole Kleckner for the second time today, 0-for-1 with a strikeout, as was the top 5 batters in Springfield's order. I'm sure if they all would have went down on strikeouts, Coach Richards would have pulled a lot of those players. Kleckner fouls off the first pitch to him, 0-1. Kleckner with the strikeout swinging. There was 3 strikeout swing-ins and then 2 strikeout lookings for Springfield in their top 5. But just after hearing what Coach Richards said in that game after Portland, game number 1, where the Drifters lost 10-1, wouldn't be surprised if he did make some substitutions. Kleckner shows bunt, gets it down, third base side. Hart fields it on the mound, throws to first, and Kleckner is out. But we'll see if the small ball pays off for Springfield. It paid off for Ridgefield earlier in the first inning. Now Springfield has a runner in scoring position in Mac Moyer after the sac bunt from Cole Kleckner. 1 out, runner at second in Moyer, and here's Trevor Anson. 0 for 1 with that strikeout looking. So he was one of the 2 batters with the backwards K. Has a chance to redeem himself here. First pitch to Anson is going to be lined up the middle, and coming in and making the catch on the line is Cavanis. That one just held up for Cavanis, the center fielder. Not much break to that line drive. First pitch swinging doesn't pay off, and it brings up Jordan Justice with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position in Mac Moyer. So Jordan Justice was hitless yesterday with a strikeout. He had back-to-back 2 for 5 days prior to yesterday's hitless game. First pitch to Jordan Justice, bounces in, and it's now 1-0. Spent this past year at Everett Community College before just announcing his commitment to LC State this past year. And a lot of these players would love to play for LC State. That is an NAIA school that has a lot of success. Justice going to line this right to the third baseman, Welker. Didn't have to move too much as he just snagged the liner right next to him. And Moyer's left stranded at second after the leadoff walk. We head now to the bottom of the 3rd inning, 1-1 the score. You're watching the Springfield Drifters on the road here in Ridgefield. Bottom of the 3rd inning, 1-1 the score. We've got another competitive game here in the early part here in Ridgefield. Trevor Barth going to be back on the mound for Springfield after the Drifters left a runner stranded in scoring position. Travis Welker, the 2-hole hitter, comes up for the first pitch, and it misses away after he showed bunt. 1-0. Welker, Kane, and Chambers due up for the Raptors, 2, 3, and 4 in the lineup. Here's the 1-0, and that one's going to be lined out towards the left center field gap. Diving play by Kleckner in left, can't get to it. Moyer's going to chase it down at the wall, digging for 2 is Welker, and he's going to stop there as the throw from Moyer came all the way to third base. It's a leadoff double for Welker, his first hit today, and it brings up Mikey Kane, the shortstop. It's already the 2nd double today for Ridgefield after a game where they didn't have any extra base hits. And this brings up Kane, the shortstop, who's 0 for 1 with a flyout. Welker now 1 for 1 after his sack bunt in the first. He now has 6 hits in his last 9 at-bats. First pitch to Kane is going to be lined on the ground. Trevor Hansen picks it up at shortstop. He'll throw over to Cade Christ at first. Keeps the runner at second and Welker. 1 pitch, 1 out. And that's a good out for Trevor Barth to get as he doesn't allow the runner to advance and he gets the first out. This brings up Will Chambers 1 for 1 with an RBI single back in the first. Has a chance for another RBI here with Welker standing at second. Barth, the right-hander, comes ready. Runner at second, 1 out. Looks back towards second, now to the plate. First pitch comes in, called the strike, 0-1. So Trevor Barth and I today, we were at Mac Moyer's place. Jamie Moyer, his dad, held a event for the entire Springfield Drifters team where they were able to come over and get lunch, similar to what we had with Cannon Reeder's family back in Bend. Mac Moyer, his dad, Jamie, invited the entire team over. We got to see his estate today, and, well, me and Barth, we were playing Cornhill today, and we dominated. We had 3 games where we won them all. We even skunked some guys. We had 2 games where we won 11-0. Didn't allow a single point in the entire cornhole game. Here's the 0-1. That one just below the knees, and it's now 1-1. I think that me and Barth, I think that I was the one that carried the team a little bit, although it may have been just who I was, I guess, positioned against. We had Peyton Childers in one game, and Childers really struggled. He had several times where he threw a bag that hit his own bag and knocked it off the board. Definitely was an advantage for Barth and I. The 1-1, swing and a miss, and it's now 1-2. I always think it's fun for these baseball players playing even games like cornhole because they're so competitive just naturally as baseball players that even just the little games like cornhole they take so seriously, so much trash talking in between. And now times is going to be called by the home plate umpire. Yeager behind the plate again today. We've seen Yeager actually umpire several Drifter series. I want to say this is the 4th series we've had Yeager. Normally he's with Andrew Mervin, but Mervin got the weekend off. Here's the 1-2 and just got a piece of it. Off-speed pitch, 78-mile-per-hour pitch from Barth. We'll do the 1-2 one more time. Four hits today for Ridgefield as we're here in the bottom of the 3rd inning in a 1-1 game. They had 3 hits all the way back in that first inning. They had a 1-2-3 inning in the second with Barth on the mound, and they got the leadoff man aboard in Welker. He had a double, but since then a ground out, and now we're here with Chambers in a 1-2 count. One ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Barth finally ready. Looking back towards second a couple of times. Now here's the 1-2. Chambers is going to flare this foul. Outside of play, 1-2. So Chambers, he's from Utah Tech, formerly Dixie State College. Transferred there after 2 years at College of the Canyons, where he played for the head coach, Chris Cota. Originally from the Santa Clarita area, he's from Valverde, California. The 1-2 is going to be lined foul. Do it one more time. Valverde actually just outside of Castaic, California. And, well, Valverde was where I, back when I was in middle school, had my very first swim and dive competition. I did dive back then. I believe I actually won 3rd in that dive competition in Valverde. Lots of great memories back then. Really small town, though. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Chambers at the plate. Here's the pitch. And that hits him right off the right shoulder. And Chambers is aboard. Barth was looking for the strikeout. Chambers was battling, but ultimately a hit by pitch puts the DH aboard
Coming to the plate
and
for the
brings up
Ridgefield
Safaya
Raptors,
Mawai.
first baseman from BYU, Safaya Mawai.
Mawai so far a double back in the first. Has a chance for some RBIs here with a runner at first and second. One out, bottom of the third. 1-1 the score. Mawai slowly steps in. Now ready. Here's the first pitch to Mawai. Outside 1-0. So Mawai, he's actually known for that slow step into the box. He was the batter that got into that brawl in Yakima a couple weeks ago, or I guess, yeah, it was a couple weeks ago. The Raptors were playing Yakima Valley, and in Yakima, him and Josh Davis, the catcher for the Pippins, they got in an absolute brawl. As Mawai is going to hit this one foul, 1-1. What happened was Mawai slow stepped into the box, and the pitcher for Yakima Valley was already ready to throw it, gunned it into the plate, and then catcher Josh Davis didn't like Mawai's reaction to the fast pitch. Ultimately, shoved each other, and then fists were thrown. 1-1, swing and a miss, and it's now 1-2. So a little bit gritty as a player. Be heading off to BYU this next year after not playing baseball this past spring. Spent his freshman year at the University of Hawaii before deciding to become a Cougar this past year. One ball is 2 strikes. Here's the pitch from Barth. And that one's down and away, now 2-2. Mawai was a top 500 prospect nationally coming out of high school. In fact, he was a top 30 first baseman in the country before deciding to play at Hawaii. He's from Hilo, Hawaii, and then decided to head to Honolulu. Ultimately now heading to Provo. Fouls off the 2-2 and do it one more time. Originally from Hawaii, he grew up watching the Rainbow Warriors, Colton Wong, now a Milwaukee Brewer on that team, and ultimately decided he wanted to be a part of that culture as he looks at a pitch high, and it's now 3-2. But ultimately, his career in Hawaii was cut short, coaching changes, and now heading off to BYU. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch to Mawai. And that's line back foul. We'll do it one more time. A little bit of a powerful hitter. 4 doubles, 2 home runs. Picked up his 5th one here today. I'm sure that bat is going to love the Provo elevation. Just how gorgeous that ballpark is in Provo. You got the snow-capped mountains out there in Utah. One of the most gorgeous places you could play baseball. Although I will say here, the Rourke, pretty nice. You get beautiful trees in the backdrop. Nice new seats. This team's been around 3 years, and so this is hopefully what Springfield's going to be in 3 years. Here's the 3-2, and that's going to be inside. 75-mile-per-hour slider from Barth. Missed low and inside, and now the bases are loaded for the Raptors.
Coming to the plate for the Ridgefield Raptors, the left fielder from the College of the Canyons, Doyle Kane.
It's the second walk issued for Barth. So Chambers, who reached via the hit by pitch, he'll head over to second. And Welker, who led off with a double, heads over to third. Mawai at first, and here's Doyle Kane, the left fielder. His first time up, he walked. Bases loaded, 1 out. 1-1 the score. The Raptors had the bases loaded back in the first. They couldn't score as this is inside. Brushed up Kane, but it didn't hit him, and it's 1-0. Kane was the one that walked to load the bases in that first inning. Ultimately, though, Isaac Lovins, who's on deck, he struck out, and the inning was over. Just 1 run scored for the Raptors. Here's the 1-0, and that one's inside one more time. High and in on Kane. 2-0, and now Stevens is going to talk things over with the pitcher in Barth. So Barth hoping to limit the damage. Yesterday, Springfield was able to turn numerous amounts of double plays. In fact, they toured 4 double plays yesterday. Had a couple of infield double plays with the 6-4-3 working a few times. I think the most impressive double play, though, was Cannon Reeder in center field. He caught a fly ball and then threw it back to first. Got the runner that wasn't tagging, and it was a double play from the outfield. Second time this season that Cannon Reeder has flashed that arm of his. Drifters could use a double play here. The 2-0 is going to be looked at and called a strike right down the heart of the plate. 2-1. Yesterday it was Jalen Ray at shortstop, Trevor Anson at second base. They moved Anson over to the left side of the infield now with Sitzman getting inserted at second. The 2-1 comes in a ball, down and away, 3-1. Oh, just missed from Barth on the low outside part of the plate. 3 balls, 1 strikes, bases loaded, 1 out. Bottom of the third inning, 1-1 the score. Here's the pitch from Barth, off speed, fouled away. 3-2. Kane on that 9-game hitting streak where he's been batting .382 during that stretch. Even though this season he's batting an impressive .359. It just seems like these Ridgefield Raptors can just crush the ball. The record has definitely shown that. Here's the 3-2, and that's going to be lined right up the middle. That'll score a run, maybe 2. They're going to hold the runner at third in Chambers, and the bases are still going to be loaded, but the Raptors take the lead. It's 2-1. RBI single for Doyle Kane as he extends the hit streak to 10 games. Chambers heads over to third. Mawai over to second. Kane at first. Bases loaded. Still just 1 out. No movement in the Drifters bullpen as of right now. They're going to keep Barth out there. Here's the first pitch to Isaac Lovins, and it's swung on and missed. 0-1. So Lovins, the first time he came up, he had his 31st strikeout on the year. He now has 31 Ks and 64 at-bats. He's a guy that strikes out almost half the times he comes up to the plate. The 0-1 line deep towards right field. Holder looking up, and it's into the bullpen. Grand slam for Isaac Lovins. He just hit a home run in his last game, and he gets a home run here today against the Drifters, and this game's blown wide open. 5 runs in the bottom of the third. 4 of them come off the bat of Isaac Lovins. He clears the bases, and it's 6-1. That one went opposite field, 94 miles per hour off the bat, 329 feet. Grand salami for Isaac Lovins, and the Raptors lead by 5. First pitch to Kirkpatrick inside, and it's now 1-0. So Kirkpatrick up for the second time today, ground out in his first at bat. The 1-0 is going to be looked at and called a strike, 1-1. So Barth has now allowed 6 runs today. That is his season high. Previously, before today, he gave up 3 earned runs against Wenatchee all the way back on June 11th. Kirkpatrick grounds this down the third base line, past a diving helmet into the outfield. Kirkpatrick's digging for 2. The throw from left field, and Klechter not going to be in time as it's a standing double for Kirkpatrick, and the Raptors are rolling here in the third. Second double of the inning for the Raptors. And still just 1 out, and now Hessler's going to go talk things over with Barth. There's yet to be a pitcher warming up for Springfield, and now it looks like there is one. 7 hits now in the game for Ridgefield as they're crushing Trevor Barth right now. So in this inning, Welker led off with a double. Kane grounded out to keep Welker at third. Then Chambers was hit by a pitch. Mawai walked. That loaded the bases for Doyle Kane. He singled in a run to take the lead. That kept the bases loaded as Chambers was held up at third, and then Isaac Lovins came up and cleared the bases on that grand slam. Opposite field grand slam for Lovins, and then Kirkpatrick comes up with nobody on and puts himself aboard with the double. Hessler taps on Barth's shoulder, goes back to the dugout. Stevens back to the plate. And here's Austin Cavanis. Cavanis so far today 0 for 1 with the fly out to center field. Up now 6-1. The Ridgefield Raptors lead after a 5-run bottom of the third inning. They still have 2 more outs to work with. Barth stays in the game. First pitch called a strike, 0-1. Kirkpatrick, he was a guy that really struggled to hit the ball at the beginning part of the year. He just had a 4 for 10 series against Bellingham, and that got him up to 6 hits on the year. So 4 of his past 6 hits now came in the last series. Barth throws it into center field, heading over to second base, or from second base to third base is Kirkpatrick. And Barth tried to backpick Kirkpatrick and just threw it dead to center field. Nowhere near the second base bag. Kirkpatrick goes to third. 0-1 the count, still to Cavanis, but another runner 90 feet away from scoring. The Drifters get their first error today after a 3-error day yesterday. The 0-1 lined foul, and it's 0-2. Barth shakes his head a few times, now comes set. Trying to get this strikeout. 0-2 the count, 1 out. Here's the pitch to Cavanis. Chopped up the middle. This will score a run. Sitzman fields it on a high hop, throws to first, and gets to the runner in Cavanis. But coming in to score is Kirkpatrick. It's the 6th run of the inning, and it's 7-1 for Ridgefield.
Now up at the plate, the right fielder from UNLV, Jacob Sharp.
Brings up the 9th batter of the inning, the only batter not to come to the plate. It's Jacob Sharp. Welker, who led off the inning, now on deck. But 2 outs, nobody on. Here's Sharp. 1 for 2 today with a single, run, and strikeout. 1-0 the count now as the first pitch missed away. So Sharp at the plate, leading the WCL in home runs with 9. Ridgefield already their first home run of the series. Takes a pitch called for a strike, and it's now 1-1 to Sharp. Sharp impressive to be having 9 home runs as a leadoff hitter. You don't see that type of power at the top of the lineup. Fouls it back, 1-2. I think a lot of these guys on the Springfield team were surprised to see Sharp at the top of the order when they were looking at the stats coming into this series. They knew who Sharp was, but they didn't realize that he batted number 1 in the order. Went 0 for 3 yesterday, but already off to a better start today with the 1 for 2. Here's the 1-2. Grounded towards the right side. Sitzman picks it up, throws over to first, and the play is over. Back-to-back groundouts to Sitzman end the inning, but 6 runs come in for the Ridgefield Raptors as they're able to pick up 4 hits overall in the inning. We head now to the 4th. 7-1, Ridgefield leading. You're watching the Springfield Drifters on the road here in Ridgefield. Well, the Springfield Drifters entered the bottom of the third inning, tied 1-1. They now enter the top of the fourth inning, trailing 7-1 after a 6-run bottom of the third inning for the Ridgefield Raptors.
With 7 runs on 7 hits.
Going to be Cade Chris, Taylor Holder, Dominic Hellman due up for the Drifters as the first pitch to Cade Chris. This is down and away, 1-0. Chris so far, a strikeout swinging. That was his 28th strikeout of the year. He's a batter that does strike out a lot. At a 34% K rate coming into today. Chris grounds it foul, and it's now 1-1. Mark started the game with 5 strikeouts, but has since yet to register another one. He gave the solo shot to Dominic Hellman, and that was the only run of the game for Springfield so far. Chris crushes this deep to left field, but it's slicing foul and lands foul. 1-2. It's a hard hit ball for Chris. 1-2. So game 2 of the series between Ridgefield and Springfield. This is the second game overall between the two clubs, as Springfield's in their first season in the WCL. Ridgefield there in their third. So a couple of years ahead of Springfield. Nonetheless, maybe a series we'll see for the years to come. The 1-2 fouled away to the right field side. Do it one more time to Cade Chris. It's our first time actually being in Ridgefield, which has been a pleasure. It's been exciting for the Springfield Drifters getting to play their first season in the WCL and getting to travel a little bit. As Chris looks at a pitch bounce in, and it's now 2-2. It's a wonderful facility they have here in Ridgefield, and Ridgefield is a city that is growing rapidly in Clark County. It's one of the most rapidly growing cities in the state of Washington. 2-2 is down below the knees. Check swing from Chris. They appeal, and he did not go, said the field umpire, Dennis Shepro. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody on for the leadoff hitter here in the fourth, and Cade Chris. On deck is Taylor Holder. Here's the payoff pitch. Swing and a miss. That's strikeout number 6 for the pitcher in Hart.
6 strikeouts now, Raptors fans. Coming to the plate now for the Drifters, the right fielder, Taylor Holder.
This brings up Taylor Holder, the right fielder, 0 for 1 with the strikeout looking. And now Hart, he's looking for strikeout number 7 potentially, as the first pitch to Holder misses away, 1-0. Here in Ridgefield, if they have 7 strikeouts overall in a game, then the fans get to go home with free tacos from Taco Bell. They're 1 strikeout away from getting the free tacos. As Holder takes a pitch called for a strike, 1-1, and well, we're only 1 out into this 4th inning. Just kind of tells you about Springfield at the plate today. Here's the 1-1. Holder gets jammed up, pops this up in the infield. Now it's going behind the plate, and Lovins underhand catches it right along the fence, and no, they're not going to call it a catch. They say it went off the fence. Went right off the screen into the mitt. And it's now 1-2. Holder gets a lucky break after the ball just clipped the net. Lovings, though, I think he really sold that. Just Billy Yeager in the area saw it hit off the netting. So Holder gets a chance now. Try to get a hit. The 1-2 is going to be hit foul. We'll do the 1-2 one more time. Yesterday for Springfield, they struck out 7 times at the plate the entire game. Right now they've struck out 6 times and are only 3 1/3 through. Holder going to line this towards right field. It's dropping fast, but sliding in right field is Sharp as he makes the catch. Holder, man, he's getting some tough breaks at the plate. He's been hitting the ball pretty well. Just plays like that with a sliding play in right have prevented him from getting hits. He's now 0 for 2 today. And this brings up Dominic Hellman. He's the only batter with a hit and run today for Springfield. Had that solo shot back in the first. Powerful bat at the plate. As the first pitch is going to be called strike, 0-1. It was dead center field for Hellman, as he was able to pick up his third hit in his last 19 at-bats. Big hack again from Hellman, but he goes down 0-2 as he whiffs on it. Looked like he was trying to go yard again at the plate. He'll have to step back in. He is an aggressive batter at the plate. One of the top prospects from the state of Washington. Watches the pitch, bounce below, Loving's the catcher. Finds its way to the backstop, 1-2.
Ridgefield had 2 leads yesterday, including a 2-0 advantage in the first inning that they did not hold on to.
Selman now has 10 hits on the year. Overall, half of them have been extra base hits. The 1-2 to Hellman. Check swing, did he go? Yes, he did, and that's strikeout number 7 for Ben Hart. And the Ridgefield fans get their tacos after a 1-2-3 inning featuring 2 strikeouts. We head to the bottom of the 4th inning, 7-1, the Raptors lead. You're watching the Springfield Drifters here on the road in Ridgefield. Travis Welker going to lead things off for the Ridgefield Raptors here in the bottom of the 4th inning. 7-1 Ridgefield leading. It was a 6-run bottom of the 3rd inning for the Raptors, featuring a grand slam from Isaac Lovins to get us here. And Barth is going to be back on the mound for Springfield. They're deciding to leave him into the game. First pitch to Welker is going to be skied out, high in the air towards foul territory, first base side. Cade Chris, the first baseman under it, makes the catch in the dirt in foul territory. 1 pitch, 1 out to start here in the bottom of the 4th. So Welker came up to the plate, led off last inning. He started things with the double and then came around to score on that grand slam. 6 runs in the inning for Ridgefield as they busted the game open. It was 1-1 prior to that. Springfield just tied the game in the 2nd, but now this one seems out of hand early, 7-1. First pitch to Mikey Kane, going to be called for a strike, 0-1. Kane so far today, 0 for 2, a fly out and a ground out. Here's the 0-1 to Kane, and that was grounded towards the third base side. Hellman picks it up at third, throws it across the diamond, and Kane is out on a ground out. Quickly now, 2 are gone. They decide to leave Barth into the game, and at this point, they're just trying to get him to go as long as he can. Springfield is a team that has really struggled with pitchers as of late, as several pitchers on this team have left the team for the summer, and now they're trying to work some guys into the order. But the way that things are looking right now, looks like by the end of the year in August, we're going to get some position players on the mound, as Springfield's just slowly but surely losing all of their pitchers. They're trying to maximize Barth on the mound. Swing and a miss from Chambers to start, and it's 0-1. Chambers today, an RBI single back in the first, and then a hit by a pitch in the third. He came around to score. He had 2 strikes on that bat last inning, in which he got hit by a pitch right on the right shoulder, and that kept the inning alive. Swing and a miss. Barth gets a whiff on that one, and it's 0-2 to Chambers. So Barth looking for a strong bounce-back inning after surrendering 6 runs, gets the first 2 outs, and starts ahead 0-2 to Chambers. Right-hander ready, and here's the 0-2 pitch. Bounces down and away, 1-2. Nobody on, 2 outs. Here's the lefty at the plate in Chambers. Here's the pitch. Line back, foul. We'll do it one more time. So Springfield today is losing 7-1. They're wearing these gray uniforms again, and I remember the first time that the Drifters wore these gray uniforms, they lost 14-2 against Corvallis. Feels like these jerseys are just cursed. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and that one down and inside, 2-2 as it evens out. On deck is Safea Mawai, the first baseman, who's reached base safely both times he's come up to the plate. Barth looking for a 1-2-3 inning for the second time today. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Called strike 3. Strikeout number 3 on the day for Trevor Barth. It's his second 1-2-3 inning as he gets a great bounce back inning in the 4th. We head to the 5th inning, 7-1, Ridgefield leading. You're watching the Springfield Drifters on the road here in Ridgefield. Top of the 5th inning, Nate Stevens going to lead things off for the Drifters. Ethan Sitzman on deck, Mac Moyer in the hole. It's the bottom of the order, 7, 8, and 9 due up for the Drifters as they're going to get their second look at Hart, the left-hander. So far, he's gone through the order about 1.5 times, with Hellman being the 6th batter he faced off against. He got a strikeout with him, and it was his 7th of the day. First pitch to Nate Stevens, swing and a miss, and it's 0-1. Stevens, the first time he was up, he got his 11th hit of the year. He singled opposite field to left field, and now will stand in for the second time. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Stevens. That bounces in and hit the umpire as well, 1-1. I think it was good for Stevens to get that single, as he's a guy that really is in his head a lot. He gets a lot of hits, and when he gets the hits, he kind of goes on a little bit of a roll. I think for Stevens, another big thing was for him to go opposite field. It feels like Stevens a lot of the time pulls a lot of the balls he hits. He's been rolling over a lot of balls to the right side of the infield. That time he was able to see the ball and send it the opposite way, which led to success for him. Just one of 2 batters with a hit today for Springfield as he fouls off the 1-1, and it's now 1-2. Stevens, though, came in today with a 159 average, and that was the lowest I'd seen from Nate Stevens. He had only had 2 hits in his last 23 at-bats. Now make it 3 hits in his last 24. Swing and a miss. And that's a strikeout for Nate Stevens. That's Stevens' 26th strikeout of the season, and it's strikeout number 8 for Hart. The rich get richer for Hart and the Raptors as they lead 7-1 here in the top of the 5th. This brings up Ethan Sitzman. The birthday boy gets his second chops. 20th birthday for Ethan Sitzman. For him, it's not really a big deal, but for this Drifters team, we've made sure to say happy birthday and celebrate with him later on tonight. On deck is Mac Moyer as the first pitch to Sitzman is going to be looked at and called a strike on one. Sitzman a ground out in his first at bat. Stares in at Hart for the second time. There's the 0-1. Chop towards the left side. Coming in as the third baseman, Welker. He'll cut it off, throw over to first, and Sitzman's out on a ground out for the second time today. Quickly 2 up, 2 down here in the top of the fifth. 7-1, Ridgefield currently leading the Springfield Drifters. 2 outs and nobody on for Mac Moyer. Moyer walked his first time up, but thought he had a double down the left field line. Home plate umpire Billy Yeager called it left of the chalk, and it was a foul ball. A couple pitches later, Moyer ended up getting the free pass to first. First pitch, off-speed pitch, 74 miles, called a strike to Moyer. And it's now 0-1. Here's the 0-1 to Moyer. Grounded to the right side. Kirkpatrick picks it up at second, throws over to first, and it's another 1-2-3 inning for Springfield. We head now to the bottom of the fifth inning. We're halfway through this game. 7-1, Ridgefield leading. You're watching the Springfield Drifters on the road here north in Ridgefield. Road games have definitely been a Achilles heel for the Springfield Drifters in their first series overall, or first season overall on the year. And this story, same story we've seen all throughout the year. 7-1 for Ridgefield as Springfield currently trailing on the road. Again, here at the bottom of the fifth inning, and it's going to be Safia Mawai, Doyle Kane, and Isaac Lovins. It's going to be batters 5, 6, and 7 in the order for Ridgefield. And it's a new pitcher on the mound for the Springfield Drifters. It's going to be the right-hander Addison Maddox. He comes in for Barth here in the fifth inning. Barth, 4 innings, 7 hits, 7 runs, 6 were earned, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts overall. That paves the way for Maddox to get in. Incoming freshman at Hawaii. And he'll be leaving the Drifters in a couple of weeks to head off to Honolulu. First pitch fouled off from Mawai, and it's now 0-1. So Mawai, he played at Hawaii, and now he gets to face off against a Hawaii pitcher in Addison Maddox. Mawai, though, now committed to BYU after not playing this past year after the coaching changes in Hawaii. The 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss, and it's now 0-2. So we saw Maddox in that last game against Portland, actually the second game against Portland. He threw 2 innings, allowed 2 runs, but the first of those 2 innings, he had a 4-pitch inning. Got a few groundouts, 1 pitch called for a strike, and then another one. The 0-2 away, and it's now 1-2. So Maddox this season overall 0-1 as he picked up the loss in that game against Portland. This is his 4th outing of the year with Springfield. His first appearance in 3 days. Here's the 1-2. Chopped foul. And still 1-2. Mawai today, a double in the first and then walked in the third. He came around to score on that grand slam from Isaac Lovins, who's currently in the hole right now. Maddox ready, the windup, the 1-2 pitch. Grounded foul one more time, and we'll do it again, 1-2. Maddox originally from Edmonds, Washington. He's a right-hander, but he actually does a lot of things left-handed, including hit. Just seeing him in the hotel, he'll use his left hand to eat. He'll swing left-handed, has left-handed golf clubs, everything. 1-2, chopped high in the air in the infield. Anson, the shortstop, comes in, fielded it correctly, and then lost it on the exchange, as that's going to be a infield single. It was going to be a tough play regardless if Anson can quickly exchange it from his hand and throw it. But Mawai gets a second hit today. He has yet to get out, and it brings up Doyle Kane, the left fielder. Kane comes up to the plate after extending his 9-game hit streak to 10 games after getting an RBI single back in the third. He was at first base when Lovins, who's on deck, hit that grand slam to make it a 7-1 game. Now stands in with a runner at first. Nobody out. Bottom of the 5th inning. First pitch comes in for a strike from Maddox, 0-1. Maddox going to have to work out of the stretch here. He's given up a run in each of his outings so far this year. 1 run against Yakima Valley, 1 run against Cowlitz, and then 2 this past one against Portland. Hoping to have his first scoreless outing of the year. The 0-1 is going to be high, and it's now 1-1. And he's having a little bit of a short rest streak. He had 3 days between outings against Cowlitz and Portland, and then he has 3 games without outings between Portland and today. Here's the 1-1, and that one's fouled away, 1-2. So Ridgefield, they're a team that is on a hot streak right now. I think the hottest team in the WCL is the Portland Pickles. But if you could get a second team, it would be the Ridgefield Raptors. They've won 6 out of their last 7 series overall. They've won 4 straight games. They're hoping to make it 5 straight and 7 out of their last 8 series. Fouled back, and it's now 1-2. Springfield currently 4-6 in the second half of the year in the WCL South. They started up 4-2. Everybody was pretty high in their horses. They had just won a series against Victoria. They won a series against Cowlitz. They had a chance to sweep both of those opponents. They couldn't pull off the sweep. And then they got swept by Portland. They lost game 1 against Ridgefield yesterday, and they currently trail. This could be 2 as it's a ground ball to Anson at shortstop. He goes to Sitzman for 1. They throw it to first, and it's 2. 6-4-3 double play for the Drifters. They turned 4 of them yesterday, and they turned their first one here in the 5th inning. Mawai out at second, and now 2 are gone for Isaac Lovins. So after Anson had a little bit of a bobble on the exchange and allowed Mawai to get a board, they turned 2 with the 6-4-3, and it brings up Lovins 1 for 2 with that grand slam and a strikeout. Here's the first pitch to Lovin. Swings and misses at a ball down and in. 0-1. That was his 5th home run of the year. Came in with a .258 batting average. The 0-1 inside, it's now 1-1. Lovings goes to Pacific University, down in Forest Grove, Oregon. Originally from Beaverton, Oregon. This past year for the Boxers, a .311 average, had 12 doubles, and had a team-high 11 home runs. So he's definitely a power threat at the plate. 2-1 now, as that pitch was a slider away from Maddox. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Bottom of the 5th inning. 7-1, the Ridgefield Raptors currently leading. Here's the pitch from Maddox. Grounded towards the left side. Hellman picks it up at third, throws it over to first, and the play is made. Just a single for Mawai, but he's doubled up. And now we head to the 6th inning after a 1-2-3 bottom of the 5th. You're watching the Springfield Drifters on the road here in Ridgefield as they currently trail by 6, 7-1 the score. Thank you guys for listening throughout the year. It's been a pleasure, especially getting to go on the road. We'll see you guys on the other half of this break.
Could be their best.
7-1 the score here in the top of the 6th inning. Springfield today just 2 hits. One of them was a solo shot, but other than that, it's been pretty poor at the plate. As now they're going to come up here in the 6th inning, and it's going to be the top of the order. Cole Kleckner, Trevor Anson, Jordan Justice. Their 3rd time through against Hart, the left-hander. 0-1 the count to Kleckner as the first pitch comes in, 86 miles per hour. On the outside part of the plate, 0-1. Kleckner so far 0 for 1 with a sac bunt and a strikeout. And now it's 1-1. One below the knees of Kleckner. Get the lefty on lefty matchup here. Here's the 1-1. Kleckner looks at it. It's called a strike, 1-2. So Kleckner came in today hitting .276. Definitely below what he hit this past year at Lane Community College. In fact, he was 3rd in the NWAC in batting average. Just hasn't had the same success that he did with the Titans. Swings and just foul tips it. We'll get another 1-2. Barely got the win on that one. Kleckner, though, did just have a 4 for 6 day 2 games ago against Portland. 1-2 bounces in. It's now 2-2. Kleckner's been up and down in this Drifters lineup. We've seen him at number 9 and number 1. I think he's had a little bit more success at the 9 spot, especially when he's been in a slump. They've put him there to try to heat up the bat a little bit. It's paid off some as Kleckner lines this down the left field line foul. We'll do the 2-2 one more time. On deck is Trevor Anson. Kleckner at the plate. Here's the 2-2. Kleckner reaches for it, lines it towards center field. Coming over a few steps to his right is Cavanis. He'll make the catch. And Kleckner's out. First out is recorded here in the top of the sixth. 7-1, Ridgefield leading, and nobody on. And here is Trevor Anson. So it's really awesome. We got Cole Kleckner and Trevor Anson, 1 and 2 in the lineup for the Drifters, as both of them are from Wilsonville High School. Both of them were teammates at Wilsonville, both not only on the baseball field, but also on the football field. First pitch to Anson, called a strike, 0-1. Anson today a strikeout look-in and a line-out. But both of them played football and baseball at Wilsonville. They both were defensive backs, too, and wide receivers. Anson, though, at the plate, he was a little bit better than Kleckner on the football field. Fouls this one off on the foot, and it's 0-2 to Anson. Anson was DB1, and then Kleckner was DB2 on the Wildcats football team. Cade Chris, who's currently in the hole right now, he was the quarterback for Thurston High School that defeated the two when they played in the Oregon 5A state championship game all the way back in 2019. 0-2 count to Anson. Here's the pitch. High, and it's now 1-2 to the shortstop. So Anson, he had a 3-for-4 day, which was his first 3-hit game of the season, and since then has not registered a hit. And Anson checks on a pitch, but it misses, and it's now 2-2. So he went 0-for-4 yesterday, ended his 3-game hit streak. Now so far 0-for-2. As the 2-2 just got a piece of it, fouled it back. We'll do it one more time. On deck is Jordan Justice, the DH. Art still on the mound, working here in the 6th. As the 2-2 pitch comes in, swing and a miss. Anson goes down on strikes for the second time today. And overall, that's strikeout number 9 for Hart. This brings up Jordan Justice, the DH. So far today, 0-for-2 with a strikeout and flyout. But Ben Hart on the mound, he's been the story. 9 strikeouts so far and 5 2/3. As the first pitch to Jordan Justice is a breaking ball that drops in for a strike, 0-1. Hart, his last time out, he threw 6 innings, struck out 10. Now hoping to go 6 innings and maybe get his 10th here with Jordan Justice as he starts ahead 0-2 as Justice whiffs at a pitch that was high. He allowed just 4 hits in that 6-inning effort against Portland. So far has only allowed 2 hits against the Drifters. Here's the 0-2. Check swing. Did Jordan Justice go? They appeal and they say he did not go, and it's 1-2. Hart thought he had strikeout number 10. Instead, he has to battle for it. Hart this past year at Dixie State, he had 40 strikeouts in 37 innings, but already off to a better strikeout ratio here. 1-2, and that one bounces in, and it's now 2-2. Back-to-back balls for the left-hander. Only 1 walk so far for Hart today, as it's been impressive. Jordan Justice skies this high in the air towards left center field. Cavanis and Kane in the area, and Kane calls him off, makes the catch, and it's another 1-2-3 inning for the Drifters offensively. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning, 7-1, Ridgefield leading. You're watching the Springfield Drifters on the road here in Ridgefield. Springfield with another 1-2-3 inning offensively. In fact, ever since Mac Moyer led off with a walk in the third, they've gone down in order, 12 up, 12 down. It just hasn't been Springfield's day offensively. Nate Kirkpatrick, Austin Cavanis, and Jacob Sharp, 8, 9, and 1, due up for the Ridgefield Raptors. Addison Maddox back on the mound as the right-hander gets to work. First pitch to Kirkpatrick, off-speed high, and it's 1-0. So Kirkpatrick picked up the double back in the third inning. He was able to advance over to third on a pass ball that Trevor Barr threw into the outfield. He came in to score on a ground out. Ground ball third base side, foul, 1-1. Here's Kirkpatrick. That was only his 7th hit of the year. As this is going to be a pitch down and away, 2-1. He was only 6 for 39 entering the day, and he had a 3 for 4 performance against Bellingham 2 games ago. So he had really struggled to hit the ball at the beginning part of the year, and it's now 2-2. He had 2 hits in his first 3 games with the Raptors, but went from June 8th all the way to July 12th without a hit. 2-2, and that one's going to be lined out towards right center field. Moyer chasing it in the alley, makes the catch, and the first out is recorded. This brings up Austin Cavanis. Cavanis 0 for 2 today with a fly out and ground out. Addison Maddox, a couple of nice innings so far. 1 1/3 and only allowed a single, but got him out on a double play with Doyle Kane. So 4 batters up, 4 batters down for Addison Maddox in relief. There's the first pitch to Cavanis as it's hit foul, 0-1. Cavanis yesterday 1 for 4 and 0 for 2 today, so just 1 hit and 6 at bats in the series. It's the 9-hole hitter for the Raptors. There's the 0-1, and that's down and away from Maddox, and it's now 1-1. Cavanis was a .360 hitter in high school. He was named 3-time All-CIF North Section. Obviously a successful career that led to a scholarship at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. 1-2 the count now, as that's a swing and a miss from Cavanis. 1-2 count, nobody on, 1 out. Bottom of the 6th inning, 7-1, Ridgefield currently leading. Although Ridgefield hasn't scored since the 3rd inning. The 1-2, chopped softly left side, Hellman comes in. It'll have to be a dart to first, and it isn't. Cavanis beats out the throw as it looked like Hellman was lollygagging down the third base side to go field the ball. He fired it over to first, but ultimately Cavanis beat it out on an infield single, and this brings up Jacob Sharp, the right fielder. So Maddox gets his second base runner on today, and he'll have to work with 1 out and a runner on first. And here's the leadoff man, Jacob Sharp. Sharp singled in the first, as he was able to get his first hit of the series after going 0 for 3 yesterday. Since then, a strikeout looking and a ground out. First pitch to Sharp is going to be looked at, and it's away high, 1-0. So Sharp singled back in the first and came in to score. It was the first run of the game as Ridgefield took a 1-0 lead. Springfield tied it on the solo shot from Dominic Hellman, and then after that, 6 runs in the bottom of the 3rd inning, including 4 off of Isaac Levin's bat. 1-1 as that one is a foul tip into the mitt of Stevens, the catcher, and it's 1-1. So Sharp, 9 home runs on the season. We have yet to see him hit a home run against the Drifters. But he had 3 home runs in the 2 games prior. There's the 1-1, and that's down and away, 2-1. So Addison Maddox on the mound. He's an incoming freshman at the University of Hawaii, and in high school he was quite the hooper. In fact, he talks to me a lot about his basketball career. Misses playing, but obviously baseball is his true love. He's choosing to pursue it full time. But Addison Maddox earlier today, he posted a photo of him dunking the ball in high school. Sharp gonna ground this to Hellman at third. He throws it to 2 for 1. Sitzman goes to first. It's a double play. The Drifters go around the horn for their second double play today. 5-4-3. And we head now to the 7th inning. 7-1, Ridgefield leading. You're watching the Springfield Drifters on the road here in Ridgefield. Top of the 7th inning, and it's going to be Ryan Albright, the right-hander on the mound for the Ridgefield Raptors. He comes in for Hart, and man, Ben Hart had a phenomenal day today. He ended up finishing with 9 strikeouts, just 2 hits allowed, 1 run. And now here's the right-hander. First pitch to Cade Chris, grounded foul, 0-1. Cade Chris so far today, 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts, both of them swinging. Hart, though, like we mentioned, 9 strikeouts today in 6 innings. Second pitch comes in for a strike, and it's now 0-2 to Cade Christ. And again, Cade Christ, a high strikeout rate. He's up to 29 strikeouts now, as he came in today with a 34% strikeout rate. The 0-2, and a swing and a miss. Cade Christ goes down on strikes for the 3rd time today, as the throw to first is in time from Lovins. And it's the sombrero for Cade Christ. And that's a tough break. First strikeout for Albright. This brings up Taylor Holder now. 0 for 2 with a strikeout looking and a flyout. First pitch to Taylor Holder, grounded sharply on the ground to third. Picking it up is Welker. He'll throw across the first and get Holder. And again, Taylor Holder hits the ball hard. It just doesn't go his way, as it's a ground out to Welker, the third baseman, and quickly our 2 are gone. This brings up Dominic Hillman. 1 for 2 today with a solo shot and strikeout. First pitch to Dominic Hellman, off speed, in there for a strike, 0-1. So Cade Christ today got the sombrero And if you're wondering how the name sombrero got its name, well, it comes from hockey. If you score 3 goals, it's a hat trick. In baseball, they called it a sombrero, as it's now 0-2 to Hellman. And, well, it's if you strike out a batter 3 times, they give him the sombrero. And the 0-2 is fouled away. So they gave it the name sombrero, as a sombrero is a oddly looking hat according to a lot of Americaners, and so they thought that if hockey had the hat trick, baseball could have the sombrero, and that's how it got its name. Here's the 0-2, and it's a swing and a miss from Dominic Hellman. Second time he goes down on strikes, and it's a 3-up, 3-down inning for Albright. In relief, we head now to the bottom of the 7th inning. 7-1, Ridgefield leading. You're watching the Springfield Drifters on the road here in Ridgefield. Back here for the bottom of the 7th inning, and it's going to be a new pitcher on the mound for the Springfield Drifters. It's the right-hander Zach Chonkich from Pepperdine. Chonkich comes into the game for Addison Maddox, who provided some solid relief innings for the Drifters. Maddox faced 6 batters, so he faced the minimum, allowed 2 hits, but both times he allowed a hit. He got a double play to get out of it. They had a 6-4-3 double play to Doyle Kane back in the 5th, and then a 5-4-3 double play to end the 6th inning with Jacob Sharp. It'll be Travis Welker, Mikey Kane, and Will Chambers. 2, 3, and 4 due up for the Ridgefield Raptors as they currently lead 7-1 here in the bottom of the 7th. And here's Zach Chonkich. So Chonkich, normally a guy they throw out there in the 9th inning to try to save it, but Springfield, like we've said, they've been pretty thin with their pitchers, so they're going to have to throw him here in the 7th. It's a 7-1 game. Chonkich going to get about maybe 30 pitches. We'll see how long they go. And an outing against Yakima Valley where he even threw just 1 pitch, ended up having to raise. First pitch is grounded foul from Welker, 0-1. So Maddox, solid relief innings in that middle portion, and it paves the way for the right-hander in Chonkich. He's a hard-throwing right-hander that just became a pitcher well in the past year. Pitched at Pepperdine, just 1 game. As the 0-1 is in there for a strike, 0-2. He started his career as a position player, playing on the left side of the infield, shortstop and third base. Ultimately came into a game against Cal Poly Slow, threw pretty well. As Welker is going to be popping this one in the air towards left field. Kleckner comes in a few steps in the grass now, as he'll come in and make the catch, and Welker's out on a flyout.
Now up at the plate for the Ridgefield Raptors, tonight's shortstop from the College of the Canyons, Mikey Kane.
This brings up Mikey Kane now from College of the Canyons. Kane so far 0 for 3.
Back-to-back two-hit games.
First pitch from Chonkic is going to be inside 1-0. So Chonkic had that one pitch, one out performance against Yakima Valley where he picked up the save against the Pippins. His last outing was against Cowlitz, and he got the save in that one. It was his second save of the season. The 1-0 bounces in, and it's now 2-0. Overall in the year, a 1.22 ERA is 8 games pitched, 2 saves, 7 1/3 innings for Chonkic, 8 strikeouts total. Here's the 2-0 to Kane, and that one's in there for a strike, 2-1. So what you're going to get from Chonkic is a hard-throwing fastball. That one right there came in at 93 miles per hour with a spin rate of 2,400. There's the 2-1, and that one's going to be popped in the air towards the right side of the field. Ethan Sitzman backing up at the second base position. Into the outfield, Taylor Holder calls him off and right, and he'll make the catch. Back-to-back flyouts to start for Chonkic in relief. And 2 are gone here in the 7th. 7-1, Ridgefield currently leading.
Designated hitter from Utah Tech, Will Chambers.
And here's Will Chambers, the DH. Single back in the first, hit by pitch, and scored in the third, and then struck out looking in his last time up in the fourth. Ever since the third inning, the Drifters pitchers have faced the minimum. 2 hits have happened in that span, but it was a 1-2-3 fourth, 1-2-3 fifth, 1-2-3 sixth, and the first 2 are gone here in the 7th. First pitch, 94 mile per hour strike thrown from Chonkic, 0-1. So Chonkic, he was a position player at Pepperdine, got put into a blowout game against Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, and then ultimately Waves decided to keep him as a pitcher after he threw 94 miles per hour with that 2,200 spin rate. He had never been a pitcher before. He had never thought about the PO lifestyle, but now he is a PO. And he's done a decent job as the closer for the Drifters. Pitch comes inside. It's now 2-1. That was a slider from Chonkic, 80 mile per hour, so you get about 13 mile per hour difference between the fastball and the off-speed pitch. And for him, I think this summer has been an experience just learning how to become a pitcher. So that's something that he's never done. This is going to be popped up, foul territory. Hellman looking at it at the dugout and sees it land on top of the dugout, 2-2. Even just talking to some of the other pitchers around, they've said that Chonkic has even asked, how do you throw a changeup? How do you throw a slider? Because he had never known how to do it before, and that's just him trying to pick the brains of these pitchers and become a good pitcher himself. Here's the 2-2. Slider called, strike 3. 78 mile per hour slider with a 22-inch break for Chonkic, and that'll end the inning. 3 up, 3 down go the Raptors. We head now to the 8th inning. 7-1 the score. You're watching the Springfield Drifters on the road here in Ridgefield. So it was another 1-2-3 bottom of the 7th inning for the Drifters pitchers, and now they come back on offense as Nate Stevens singles up a ball up the middle. It's his second single today as Stevens now has a 2-for-3 day. Springfield today gets their third hit of the game, and Stevens, he's 2/3 of it as he leads off the 8th with a base hit. This will bring up Ethan Sitzman. Sitzman today 0 for 2. It's the first hit for Springfield since, you guessed it, Nate Stevens all the way back in that second inning. Springfield got back-to-back hits, Hellman and Stevens. Since then, nobody had gotten a hit. First pitch comes inside on Sitzman, and it's now 1-0. Sitzman now just 3 hits at his first 20 at-bats as a Springfield Drifter, but, you know, it's summer ball, and sometimes the hits don't really show how good of a hitter they are. First pitch in there for a strike, and it's now 1-1. Sitzman, the 2-for-4 day on Portland, as he was able to get more than his hit total for the season in that game. It was his best offensive performance of the year, as the 1-1 misses down and away, 2-1. Still, though, one of the highlights of the year was Sitzman in that game, scoring from second base to home plate after Cole Kleckner showed bunt and got it down the third base side. Sitzman just so aggressive on the base paths, able to go from second home, and what a fun play that was. He'll flare this towards right field, not moving anywhere is Sharp. He'll make the catch. Back to first is Stevens, but Sitzman's now 0 for 3 on his birthday. So bring up Mac Moyer, the center fielder, 0 for 1 today with a walk. Stevens at first, 1 out, 7-1. The Ridgefield Raptors currently leading the Springfield Drifters in the top of the 8th. First pitch to Moyer, off speed, called for a strike, 0-1. Ridgefield, they're hoping to win today and win their 7th of their last 8 series overall. They've won 4 straight games, and they're hoping to make it 5. Moyer fouls this off, and it's now 0-2. They lead by 6 here in the 8th, and they're on a good pace too. They're currently second in the WCL South in the second half of the year. Of course, the first half winner was Corvallis, and then after that, the second half winner gets to join Corvallis in the playoffs. Right now, that is currently the Portland Pickles, who are 9-1 in the second half. The 0-2 to Moyer outside, and it's now 1-2. Portland's 9-1, but Ridgefield, they're 2.5 games behind them, 5-2 overall. They haven't played as many games as the Pickles, but if they win today, they'll be 6-2, 1 inch closer to Portland. Below the knees, 2-2 now to Mac Moyer. Ridgefield pretty close to Portland too, so I'm sure there's a little bit of jarring between the two clubs, although I will say that Ridgefield's rival is most definitely Cowlitz. As Moyer's going to ground this to short. This could be 2. Kane flips it to second for 1. They go to first, and Moyer's doubled up. Stevens is out at second as it's another 1-2-3 inning on the 6-4-3 ground out. We head now to the bottom of the 8th inning, 7-1 the score, Ridgefield leading. You're watching the Springfield Drifters on the road here in Ridgefield. Bottom of the 8th inning, 7-1 Ridgefield leading. And the Drifters, for the first time this season, they're throwing a non-pitcher onto the mound. It's going to be a position player, and it's going to be Sheehan O'Connor. O'Connor is a right-hander. We've seen him at shortstop. We've seen him at third base. We've seen him at second base. But we've not seen him on the mound, and we finally get to see Sheehan O'Connor on the mound. We heard that there was going to be some emergency pitchers used for Springfield as they were limited with the bullpen depth. We finally get our first position player. Heard it was Sheehan O'Connor, number 1, and here we are with O'Connor. So here's the first pitch to Mawai, and it's a strike from O'Connor, 0-1. Yesterday we saw Dylan O'Connor. Here we get Sheehan O'Connor. This is not the O'Connor that you're expecting to see on the mound. But nonetheless, he starts his pitching day with a strike, 0-1. Second pitch, swing and a miss, and O'Connor gets ahead, 0-2. So O'Connor comes in for Zach Chonkic, who had a 1-2-3 7th inning, 2 flyouts and a strikeout for Chonkic. As ever since that 3rd inning where 6 runs were scored, it's been 12 up, 12 down for the Raptors. O'Connor ready. Here's the 0-2, grounded and actually fouled it off himself. Sitzman barehanded it and threw it to first. He was like, count it, it's an out. Instead, it's a foul ball. We'll do the 0-2 one more time. Trying to find out if Sheehan O'Connor has ever thrown a baseball before on the mound. Doesn't look like he did it at all at Everett Community College. 0-2 the count to Mawai. Here's the pitch from O'Connor. Just outside, 1-2. Now on 74 mile per hour off speed from O'Connor. In the warm-up, he's throwing a fastball about 82 miles per hour. 1-2 the count to Mawai. Here's the pitch from O'Connor. Reached for, popped in the air in the infield. Over is Trevor Anson. He squeezes the glove at shortstop, and Mawai is retired.
One shortstop on the mound, one shortstop catching the pop-up. And there's one down here in the 8th.
Pinch hitting for the Ridgefield Raptors from UC Davis, Latif Wakil.
Poway, California.
So this is Latif Wakil. He's going to pinch hit now for Doyle Kane after Kane walked, had an RBI single, and then grounded into a double play. Here's Latif Wakil. He's an outfielder from Poway, California. Just wrapped up his first year at UC Davis. O'Connor comes in with a strike, 0-1. 86 miles per hour from O'Connor there on that pitch. Had a good spin rate too, 23.63 on that one. The 0-1 from O'Connor, swing and a miss. 0-2. 85 miles per hour on that fastball high from O'Connor, and he starts ahead 0-2 to the second batter. Man, maybe we've just not been utilizing Sheehan O'Connor to a good ability. Doing a good job on the mound right now. Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss. Strikeout for Sheehan O'Connor, 87 that time. 3 pitches, 3 strikes, and O'Connor picks up strikeout number 1. This brings up Isaac Lovins. Strikeout, grand slam, and a ground out. But now he has to face off against Sheehan O'Connor. Nobody on, 2 outs. 7-1, Ridgefield currently leading. First pitch, swing and a miss. 76 mile per hour off-speed pitch from O'Connor there, and it's 0-1. So O'Connor did not throw at all at Everett Community College. I think he may have thrown a little bit in high school. As the 0-1, down and away, 1-1. What I've heard is that Sheehan O'Connor was a phenomenal high school baseball player. At one point even had an offer to Oregon State, but ultimately ended up at Everett Community College and has been trying to put it together as a shortstop. He'll throw in a strike, and it's now 1-2. Maybe he needs to look at his future on the mound. Gets a fly out in the infield and a strikeout, and now he's ahead 1-2 to Isaac Lovins. Right-hander set. Here's the 1-2. Looked at, and that one misses. Just outside, and it's now 2-2. O'Connor shakes twice, now comes set. Here's the 2-2. And that one's down and away, and now the count is full. Sheehan O'Connor today got a lot of flack for wearing a beanie. It was a beautiful day, about 80 degrees out today, but for O'Connor, he's a guy that consistently wears a beanie whatever weather it is. A lot of players weren't vibing with it. The 3-2 off speed just outside, and that's going to be a walk. So Sheehan O'Connor lets the first base runner aboard here in the 8th. 2-out walk for Isaac Lovins.
Now up at the plate for the Raptors, tonight's second baseman from St. Mary's College, Nate Kirkpatrick.
This brings up Nate Kirkpatrick, second baseman. First pitch comes in for a strike, and it's now 0-1. Kirkpatrick today, a double back in the third. That was his 7th hit of the year. Other than that, a ground out and a fly out. He'll ground this one up the middle. Anson trying to pick it at shortstop, bobbles it a couple of times, collects it, throws the first, and the play is made. A 6-3 ground out to end the inning. Sheehan O'Connor, a strikeout, and 3 outs in his first relief effort of the season. He did walk a batter, but he's left stranded. We head now to the 9th inning. Springfield looking for a miracle as they trail by 6. Just 3 hits today. You're watching the Springfield Drifters on the road here in Ridgefield.
North of
7-1, Ridgefield currently leading the Springfield Drifters, and Springfield currently is looking for a miracle, and it's going to be at the top of the order coming up. Cole Kleckner, Trevor Anson, Jordan Justice, 1, 2, and 3 for the Drifters. They're facing off against a new pitcher. It's going to be Easton Culp. He's the right-hander from Vancouver, Washington, so he's a local product playing for the local Ridgefield Raptors. Kleckner so far today, a strikeout, sac bunt, and a flyout. First pitch to the left-handed hitter. Down and away, and it's now 1-0 to Kleckner. Kleckner was the 3rd best hitter in the NWAC this past year. Hasn't had the same success with Springfield, but he's been a quality outfielder for the Drifters, and it's now 2-0 to him as that one bounced in. It reached base safely 9 times in the past 3 games as the 2-0 to him comes in for a strike, and it's now 2-1, but he has yet to reach base safely today. Had that 4-for-6 day against Portland, actually reached base safely 5 times in that game against the Pickles. The 2-1 going to be outside, and it's now 3-1. The only time he got out in that entire game was a strike call on the final out of the game. If you looked back at the view and looked at the TrackMan, it was a pitch that was outside, called for a strike. Kleckner's going to foul this one away, and it's now 3-2 to the left fielder. On deck is Anderson, who's also hitless today. Just 3 hits for Springfield. They went the 3rd through 7th inning without a single hit. They had 1 walk in that span, and it was Mac Moyer. Other than that, it's not gone too well offensively. Fouled away is Kleckner, and it's going to be another 3-2 pitch. The only other time that a Drifter batter got on board, it was Nate Stevens who singled, but then he was doubled up last inning to end it. And now here's a walk for Kleckner to start. And the Drifters have a man aboard with nobody out, and this will bring up Trevor Anson, the shortstop. So Anson today looking to avoid the sombrero like Cade Christ has. A strikeout looking, a strikeout swinging in the 1st and 6th. Had a line out sandwiched in between that. First pitch to Anson, going to flare this out towards right field. Sharp in a few steps, moves over to his left, makes the catch back to first as Kleckner, and Anson's out on a line out. First out is recorded, and this brings up Jordan Justice with a runner at first and 1 out. Strikeout, 2 flyouts for Justice. So here's Easton Colt, 2-0 on the year for the Raptors. This is going to be his 6th inning or 6th outing overall. He's thrown 13 innings prior to today, 11 strikeouts and 3 walks. First pitch called a strike, and it's 0-1. He had 1 outing against Victoria, which he gave up 4 runs on just 1 hit, 2 walks against the 4 batters that he faced. Ultimately, those runs came in, and that was his worst outing of the year. Didn't even record a single out. Pitch runs away, and it's now 1-1. Other than that, he's had 3 scoreless outings. Had a 5-inning scoreless outing against Kelowna all the way back on June 8th. 5 2/3 with 1 run against Edmonton prior to that. Since then, he's pitched out of the pen. Pitch high, and it's now 2-1. Culp, 6'2", 185 pounds from Umpqua Community College. So he was teammates there with former Drifters Jay Stoffel and then Austin Anderson. Pitch goes below the knees of Jordan Justice, and it's now 3-1. Umpqua, they have a really good program down there in Roseburg. It's a very militant program, and it's very high discipline, and these pitchers are definitely in that same mindset. Jordan Justice going to ground this to the left side. This could be 2 in the game. Welker goes to 2 for 1. They throw it to first, and Justice beats it out. Almost 2 to end it. Instead, Kleckner's out at second, and it's a fielder's choice play. This brings up Cade Christ, 0 for 3. 3 strikeouts for Cade Christ. Already has the sombrero, looking to avoid the golden sombrero to end the game. 2 outs, runner at first, 7-1, Ridgefield leading. First pitch, grounded foul, 0-1. Cade Christ just finished up his past year at Tacoma Community College. Still looking for his next home next year. Has a few NAIA offers on the board. Still fielding other calls. But I have a feeling in the next couple of weeks we're going to see an announcement from Cade Christ. The 0-1 high, and it's now 1-1. Ridgefield 1 out away from winning the series against Springfield after taking game number 1 yesterday. 2-1 the count now as that pitch misses down and away. Springfield on the verge of losing their 2nd straight series after winning back-to-back. Pitch inside on Chris, and it's now 3-1 to the first baseman. 3 balls, 1 strike, 2 out. Here's the pitch to Chris, and it's a swing and a miss. Off speed, 79 miles per hour on the outside part of the plate. Got Chris to chase, and the count's full. Drifters down to their final strike. 7-1, Ridgefield leading. Just 3 hits today for the Drifters. Here's the payoff pitch, and it's taken outside. Chris is aboard with a walk. Jordan Justice heads over to second, and now here comes Taylor Holder. Drifters still have another out to work with, but they're going to have to really pull off a 2-out rally, trailing by 6. 7-1 the score, looking for their 4th hit today. Taylor Holder, hitless, strikeout, flyout, and ground out. He'll ground this to third. Welker picks it up, taps on the third base bag, and the game is over. Holder now 0 for 4 on the game, and that'll do it for Springfield here in game number 2 against Ridgefield. Ridgefield able to pull off the victory 7-1, and it was all held by that 6-run third inning, and it really was blown open with the bat of Isaac Lovins. Lovins, the catcher, came up with the bases loaded. He had just struck out in his first at bat, and he got that big hit that he needed, a home run opposite field into the bullpen of the Drifters. That started a 6-run inning and ultimately held on for the 7-1 victory. Other than that, I think that Springfield did a pretty good job. It went up and down in order after that third inning. The only batter to reach base safely and then not go down was Isaac Lovins. Other than that, there was 2 hits scattered in between it, but the Drifters scored 2 double plays. And other than that, the Drifters did a good job on the pitching end. Just that first 3 innings was tough. Bartha's going to take the loss today as he gave up those 7 runs. 6 of them were earned. And ultimately, Springfield drops their second game against Ridgefield, and they've now lost 6 straight games after winning back-to-back series against Victoria and Cowlitz. We'll be back at it again tomorrow as the Drifters look to claim game number 3 and look to avoid their 2nd straight sweep. That game is going to be taken off around 1:05 tomorrow. Catch it here on the Drifters YouTube channel. Thank you guys for tuning in from Ridgefield. My name is Knight Uretsky, your play-by-play man. I'll see you guys tomorrow from Ridgefield.